Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Cumberland at Home. I'm Miss Jordan, and we're going to be reading some very important or very scientific information today. You will need to go to your packet and find solids and liquids. You will need a pencil, and I always have a highlighter. You don't have to have a highlighter. You can use your pencil instead. So before we begin, we're going to think, pair, share some important vocabulary. So get beside someone, find a partner. It can be your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. You're going to pair up and think, pair, share. So the first thing we're going to talk about, what are solids? What are solids? Think about it. Have you heard the term before? Maybe you've heard it in your science lessons. What is a solid? Think about it. Did you share? Did you talk about it? Okay, so solids are things that have their own shape. Solids are things that have their own shape. Is that what you said? Think of some examples of solids around your house. Okay, that's going to get our brain ready for reading. Next vocabulary word, liquids. What are liquids? Think, pair, and share. What do you think liquids are? Here's our example. Liquids do not keep their own shape. It can be poured into a container. Liquids do not keep their own shape. They can be poured into a container, okay? If that's what you said. Now, what would be some examples of liquids? What do you think? Last word, matter. And we're just going to go ahead and give you the definition of matter because, as you guessed, liquids and solids are states of matter. Matter is anything that takes up space and has mass. Those are technical terms, and we will be reading about them. So before we begin, here's what we're going to do. We're going to venture through our text and just see if we can skim and scan and see if we can come up with some more information before we begin. This is an informational text, so I want to start presenting it and share it with you. We're going to try our entire, we're going to try to share. Here we go. And here we are. Okay, so let's go up to the top. Here's our title, Liquids and Solids. And here is our text. And then we're going to go through and scan through briefly our comprehension questions. What are solids? What are solids compared with in the article? So as we read, be thinking about that. Okay. We're going to go on to the next one. What is true about similarities and differences of solids and liquids? Keep that in mind. What is the main idea of this article? Okay, read these sentences from the text. Solids and liquids have something in common. They are both states of matter. What does it mean that solids and liquids have something in common? Okay, solids do not flow blank, liquids do. List two details about solids, and we're going to be looking for two details about liquids, and then we're going to compare them. Okay, so now that we have ventured through our comprehension questions, now we're going to read it. So as we read along, boys and girls, now would be a good time. You can take your pencil and you can underline key details, like if you come across the definition of a liquid, the definition of a solid. Okay, so you can use your pencil as we go through and underline those key details. So let's get started reading. Solids and Liquids by Rachelle Cressman. Okay, this is from our Read Works. Here we go. What do shoes, paper, and cheese have all in common? They are all solids. Solids are things that have a shape of their own. They do not flow like liquids do. Computers, trees, and soccer balls are also solids. Liquids do not keep their shape. A liquid can be poured into a container and will take the container's shape. Some examples of liquids are water and milk. Solids and liquids have something in common. They are both states of matter. Matter is everywhere. It is anything that takes up space and has mass. Mass is a measure of how much matter is in an object. All objects are made of matter. So we did a good job of reading it. Now we get to our comprehension questions. Remember, we're going to refer back to our informational text, solids and liquids. Here we go. What are solids? A, things that have a shape of their own. B, water and milk. Or C, things that do not keep their own shape. So we're going to go back to our text. What are solids? And go up to the top. And it says, I'm going to read the first paragraph that could help us. What do shoes, paper, and cheese all have in common? They are solids. Solids are things that have a shape of their own. They do not flow like liquids. So we're going to go back to our question. And guys, you're doing a great job of following along with me. Okay, what are solids? A, things that have a shape of their own. B, water and milk. Or C, things that do not keep their shape. Well, if we referred back to our informational text, we know our answer is A. I hope you used your pencil and you marked your answer. Good job, guys. Let's move on to number 2. What are solids compared with in the article? Meaning, what do they compare the solids to? Is it A, liquids, B, trees, C, computers? Let's go right back to the beginning of our text. What are solids compared to? Okay, if we read the very bottom, it says computers, trees, and soccer balls are all solids. So let's go back to number 2, question number 2. What are solids compared with in this article? Liquids? No. B, trees, or C, computers? Which one would you choose? What do you think? Okay, go back. If you're not sure, go back to the very beginning, to the text. Let's read question number 3. Read this paragraph from the article. Liquids do not keep their shape. A liquid can be poured into a container and will take the container's shape. Some examples of liquids are water and milk. What can be concluded about the shape of water and milk from this information? What can you draw from after reading these two sentences? A, water and milk have a shape of their own. B, water and milk do not flow. Or C, water and milk do not keep their own shape. So if we go back up to this, the 3 sentences and read them. Liquids do not keep their shape. A liquid can be poured into a container and will take the container's shape. Some examples of liquids are water and milk. So what can we draw our conclusion from? A, what can be concluded about the shape of water and milk from this information? A, water and milk have a shape of their own. Well, we already know it doesn't. B, water and milk do not flow. Well, we know when we pour them, it will flow. And C, water and milk do not keep their own shape. They don't, because they take on the shape of the container. So I hope you answer that. Let's move on to number 4. What is true about the similarities and differences of solids and liquids? A, there are similarities and differences between solids and liquids. B, there are similarities between solids and liquids, but not any differences. C, there are differences between solids and liquids, but not any similarities. Okay, choose your answer now. We're on number 5. Okay, what is the main idea of this article? What is the big idea in this article? A, solids and liquids are different kinds of matter. B, a liquid that is poured into a container will take the container's shape. Or C, mass is a measure of how much matter is in an object. All right, think about it carefully. If you're not sure, let's scroll back up to our informational text. We're on number C. I hope we're following along. Read these sentences from the text. Solids and liquids have something in common. They are both states of matter. What does it mean that solids and liquids have something in common? A, all objects are made of matter. B, solids and liquids are alike in some way. C, solids take up more space than liquids do. So think about your answer. What does it mean that solids and liquids have something in common? Okay. A, all objects are made of matter. B, solids and liquids are alike in some way, or C, solids take up more space than liquids do. Mark your answer now. We're on number 7. Choose the answer that best completes this sentence. Solids do not flow, blank, liquids do. A, solids do not flow, so liquids do. B, solids do not flow because liquids do. C, solids do not flow, but liquids do. Okay, choose your answer now. Write your answer down. We're on number 8. And so you will be writing a sentence. Okay, write 2 details about solids, or you can list them. And I got you started there. 2 details about solids are, go back to the beginning and find 2 details about solids. Okay, we could go back to the very beginning. Let's do that. And let's find 2 details about solids. So what do we know about solids? Well, we know that their solids are things that have a shape of their own. That's one detail. We also know they do not flow like liquids do. There you go. Those are 2 details that we found. You're going to do the same thing for liquids. So let's go back to our question number 9. List 2 details about liquids. We just did that for solids. So boys and girls, go back to the front, scroll back to the front, and let's find 2 details about liquids. Okay. And here we are. If we go back up to the middle one, liquids do not keep their shape. A liquid can be poured into a container and will take the container's shape. There are 2 details. And so let's go down to number 10 and our last one. Compare liquids and solids. Support your answer with evidence from the article. So you want to tell how they're alike, right? And you could tell how they're different. And you're going to write your answer right here, number 10. Okay. I hope that you've enjoyed reading this informational text, solids and liquids. This would be a good time to venture back through, reread it again, and check your answers. Okay? Hope to see you soon. Continue reading. Bye, guys.